Get ready to shake, here comes the djembe drum. This is the makuta. Rapidissimo! Why don't you try the rocket ship breathing this morning, okay? I've got a pretty special story for you today. It's a really old story from many years ago. It's called Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. Crockett Johnson wrote the words and drew the pictures. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. Look at those sharp teeth. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. Suddenly he realized what was happening, but by then Harold was in over his head in the ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time at all he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough, Harold may land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry, so he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie. Yum. But there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired and he felt he ought to be going to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped, and there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon, big enough to stand in. He had a very fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made more windows. He made a big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He decided to ask a police officer. The police officer pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in his bed. Then, suddenly, Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got into it and drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped onto the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep. Good night, Harold. This is a fictional story. Fiction means pretend. Harold has a great imagination, and he can pretend super fun things with his purple crayon. That gives me an idea. Hey, check this out. I've got a project for you. One of our favorite things to do in the treetop room is draw pictures. And sometimes when we draw pictures, the kids make up fantastic stories, and I write down their words on the pictures. I thought, wouldn't it be fun if today we draw purple pictures just like Harold and make up funny stories? So that's what I'm going to do now. Check this out. All right, I found all of the purple drawing things I could find in my house so that I can make a story just like Harold using only purple things. What will I draw on my drawing desk? Let's see. I think I'm going to draw a springtime picture with my dark purple marker to start. I've been thinking about spring a lot lately because it is springtime now. We've had some warm days. So I'm going to draw a big sun up in the sky. There it is, shining down. But we haven't just had sun. We've also had some rain, which is good for those plants. The plants and seeds that have been sleeping in the ground all winter long. They've been waiting to be woken up. Do you remember what it's called when plants wake up? Germination. The plants are being germinated. That means those dry seeds are getting wet under the ground. Here's some ground here. And underneath the ground, the rainwater is falling down on the seeds, down, 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 all the way to the ground. And the water is going into the seeds, and they're waking up. Do you remember when we sprouted bean seeds in our classroom? First, the little roots come out that are like straws to drink up the water. And then out pops a little sprout. I'll have to show you some sprouts I found in my flower beds that are coming up too. Check it out. All these little guys have woken up after the long winter and have started turning green. Their roots are drinking up all this rain, and they're starting to grow again. so exciting. And I think these ones are bulbs that will turn into daffodils. I am so looking forward to spring when the flowers come out of the ground. There's a beautiful flower and some leaves. And over this seed will be, daffodils. They're usually yellow, but I can make a purple daffodil today for Harold. The daffodils come up in the spring. And how about we try for a hyacinth over here? They're so pretty in the springtime too. There are lots of beautiful flowers in our garden. And then the little worms are wriggling around in the ground. Boop, 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 boop. And maybe he'll say, oh, it's raining now. I want to come up and pop up my head. Take a look. What's happening up there? You better look out, because who's going to come if you are out, Mr. Worm? You better hide away back in the ground, because here comes our friend Robin in the rain. What a saucy fellow. But this robin doesn't have a red tummy. It has a purple tummy. Nice one. This is a lovely spring picture so far. But do you know what I think this picture needs? Is a pig. Here we go. Pigs. This is going to be a super happy pig. It's happy because springtime is here. Hello, pig. Look at you. Are you going to be dancing in our garden here, little piggy? I think so. Look at me, children. I'm dancing in the garden. Oh, look at you doing the splits here too. Very nice, piggy. And pigs have a little curly tail, bloop. And this one will have a tutu on too. Look at you. And what's a party without a hat, I think? Pig in a party hat. Pig in a party hat. So nice. There's the dark purple. And let's put a little bit of light purple on here too. I'm going to make this pig dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing all around. La la la. My springtime purple picture. Have fun making your own purple pictures just like Harold. Show me, I want to see them. Have a great day. Bye-bye.